Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She's Kim McAllister, and we have a very interesting show for you. We're going to talk about health and fast food and what you eat and what you put in your body and how they can kind of counteract each other. And it's all under the shadow of the passing of this guy that did a very it was a widely viewed documentary about McDonald's fast food. Before we get into that, though, you guys, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe, and also consider donating to the show as well. All of the links can be found in the About section below this screen, and we appreciate all the support as well. Okay, Kim, so did you ever see the documentary Supersize Me?
I didn't see it, but
You
I
never
heard about
saw
it.
it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it was this guy right here. I have a picture of him. Morgan Spurlock. Okay, that was his name.
Okay.
And it was such an interesting documentary. It was back in 2004. So, God, 20 years ago. I'm getting old. Okay, so it was called Supersize Me. He ate nothing but McDonald's for 30 days. Well, sadly, last week, he died. He was only 53 years old. Apparently he had cancer. I'm not going to make any inferences about whether it was health related cancer or whatever. His brother Craig just said it was complications from cancer.
Mhm.
Anyways, he did this documentary, and it was basically, he would the reason why it was called Supersize Me, if you haven't seen it, is he would only supersize his meal that he would get from McDonald's if the worker asked him. Okay. So
Okay.
he would order whatever he wanted to, but if they ever said, "Do you want to supersize it?" he would always have to say yes.
And
Okay.
did
So it's
they
kind of,
did they ask him a lot?
yeah, because it was the whole upsell,
Yeah.
right? Like, "Do you want to super, of course, right?"
Okay.
And so, he went into the doctor. He had all of his levels checked. He was apparently a very healthy, quote unquote, guy before he went in, checking his cholesterol level and,
Mhm.
how he was feeling. I mean, he ate it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I know you probably wouldn't be able to handle it because you don't like, fast food meat,
No,
let
I
alone
would. I
fast
wouldn't
food.
have eaten the meat. I would have just, if I had to do it, I
Yeah.
would have taken out the meat and just eaten the bun. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. So he ate for a month, and then it was for 30 days. There were interviews with health experts. He visited his, according to the New York Times, increasingly disturbed physician. At the end of the month, guess how much weight he gained in 1 month?
I don't know.
25 pounds.
In 1 month?
In 1 month, just by
Yikes.
eating McDonald's.
Yeah.
He said he was depressed. He was puffy faced and apparently was experiencing liver dysfunction. Now the film debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. It made like $22 million. He was very well known for it. He got an Academy Award nomination for this documentary. But it didn't really change people's obviously eating habits as much as he wanted it to.
Mhm.
Obviously, McDonald's is still very popular. People still eat it. He was going to do like supersized chicken one as well. But, once you do something like this that gets a lot of attention, there is, of course, a lot of, kind of backtracking, a lot of criticism, things like that.
Right.
And apparently, and I did not know this because I did watch the documentary, he wasn't as healthy as people, or at least as he made himself out to be. In 2017, now this was, of course, during kind of Me Too, people understanding things like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and everything like that was going on. Morgan Spurlock made a couple of really big admissions. One had to do with the Me Too movement. He admitted that he sexually assaulted a woman in his college. Okay. And he says, "I'm part of the problem." It was on this Twit Longer thing. He also made an admission that he was an alcoholic. Okay. He had never been sober pretty much in 30 years, which also meant the liver dysfunction that he was experiencing during
Might have
Supersize
been
Me
alcohol
might have had to
related.
do something
Yeah.
with his alcoholism, of
Yeah.
course. As far as the sexual assaults, it was kind of the situation where he was out with a girl, went back to the dorm, making out. She said no. They stopped. They started making out again. She said no again, and kind of just kept going back to making out until they ended up having sex.
Mhm.
And she sees it as being, the R word.
Yeah.
And he didn't see it that way at the time. And, she was crying. She felt bad. And then he's realizing,
No means no.
No means no.
I mean, how do you mistake that?
Exactly. And and then he admitted that he had sexually harassed women he worked with.
Oh,
He said,
sounds like a real gem.
Yeah, he said, I would call my female assistant hot pants or sex pants when I was yelling for her from the other side of the room. He thought it was funny. He says, but then realized I had completely demeaned and belittled her to a place of non-existence. So when she decided to quit, she came to me and said, if I didn't pay her a settlement, she would tell everyone. Being who I was, it was the last thing I wanted. So I paid. I paid for peace of mind. I paid for her silence and cooperation. Most of all, I paid so I could remain who I was. And he says, I'm part of the problem. Yep. He also was unfaithful to every wife and girlfriend he'd ever had.
Ew.
I mean, but this was an admission that he was voluntarily making. Okay. So I don't know if it was to kind of ease his mind or whatever. But again, it's just, I mean, that is a whole separate thing of who this guy was. And he got the backlash in 2017 when he wrote that admission during the whole Me Too beginnings, right? And all that. But then there's his passing and the admissions that are coming through on how he also lived his life in this healthy aspect of way as well. It seems like he was trying to be everything and was kind of the opposite of what he was, right? Like you're dating, you're married, you're cheating on your wife, you're harassing women, you assault somebody you considered a friend that you were dating. You make this very popular documentary about becoming healthy and living a healthy lifestyle versus the opposite. And he wasn't. He was just kind of lying to himself the whole entire time. And as it comes out, it's just really shocking. One person, the Washington Post, called it career death. The decision to come clean with everything with the Me Too movement. But I would even say, even in light of what's come out about his alcoholism, and again, I don't know if his death has anything to do with that or his cancer has anything to do with it, but how hard it must be to be a person that lives kind of this dual life, right? Like I'm portraying myself one way, but the truth of the matter is I'm completely the opposite of that. And I'm not trying to like play a violin for this guy, but it makes me so sad. Does that make sense? I mean, it makes me so sad to know this about this guy. And he could just be the Supersized Me guy to most people.
Right. Which I think he was when the news of his death first came out. He was like, oh, the Supersized Me guy died.
Right. Yeah. But then you learn more about his life and it's just so sad. I guess I don't know how to come to terms with the person. And I don't know this guy from Adam. I mean, again, I just know him from that. But how many of us do that, right? Especially in the age of social media, right? You put yourself out there. Oh, and I'll take, health, just the health aspect of it, right?
Sure.
I'm this healthy person. I'm gonna create this brand online of being X, Y, and Z, whether I'm doing yoga or manifesting or positive thinking or you could even bring in MLMs to it, right? I care about my skin, join this company. And it's all a load of crap, right? It's all a load of BS. This guy made his mark by doing this whole documentary about healthy eating. And he was a raging alcoholic, right? How do we believe? I pride ourselves, Kim, on being really unfiltered in who we are on this show. I think that's why people watch this show every day. I think that's, kind of who we are.
Sure.
I wouldn't know how to be any other way. I wouldn't be able to have a brand that was a load of BS. On the other
hand, it's not like people see us at our worst moments most of the time.
Most of the time.
Not that we're hiding it, but it's not like I'm going to turn and go, yell at my kids or whatever. Not that I'm a huge yeller, but there are moments that I have. Like, these are not things we want to put forward to people. Right. So I get that everyone has a side of themselves maybe that's, I don't know, that's not, you don't want people, you wouldn't do in front of company. Right?
Right. Yeah.
There's always that aspect. Although I do think that we are really who we are, but it's not like I'm gonna, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm hiding anything, but I do think that, I mean,
but you're not trying to portray yourself. I don't know. We don't really have we just kind of we talk and give commentary on current events. Sure. It's kind of what this show is, and I think that we're really clear that that's what it is. When it's our opinion, we say it's our opinion. When we're giving you the facts, we're giving the facts as we know it. That sort of thing. And so, but I feel
sometimes I have bad mom moments.
Yes.
I hopefully don't have them too often, but I think we all have them.
Of
And
course.
it's not like I want to be that person. So it's not like
Right.
I'm putting it all. I'm not like, showing you all the everything. You know what I mean? Okay.
Although I'm sure there's people that would be like, all right, feet and pudding and tatas out. There
Well,
you go.
hello and good morning.
Hello. No, but at the same time, we're not so niche where we are like, a Ruby Frankie, if you're talking about parenting, right? The woman, the mom that was like allegedly abusing her children and portraying herself as this end all be all mother that, yes, was strict, but did it for the love of her children, blah, blah, blah. Just duct taping their arms and legs and not feeding them,
No.
And that's kind of like where I find ourselves in this 2024 social media, putting it all out there kind of life is people have found a great way of making money by being what they actually are not.
No.
And that's what Morgan Spurlock kind of reminds me of, is even though he's passed away but he was at the kind of the beginning of that, this whole idea of reality life, and I'm going to do this. And you were being honest about even the basics of being a healthy man. Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to bag on him. It's another example of what we see on the internet, what we see on social media is in no way, shape, or form the real world. We should know that by now. But young kids, right? Our children, those even 20-year-olds trying to make a living in this kind of hustle culture of social media branding and influencing, and I'm putting that in quotes, it could be very unhealthy. And it could lead people down a dark road that's not even based on any facts.
This is this is light about what you're mentioning, but my daughter's in this broadcast journalism class, and their whole thing is, and they do stories and they do other broadcasts and they tape sports events and what have you, but they also do the daily school bulletin. And I think I've sent you a couple that Julia have been in because it's funny. I mean, they're not the greatest broadcast in the world, but sometimes it's fun to watch them. And some of the kids have this smile plastered on their face. And the minute the broadcast, they think the broadcast has ended, but it hasn't yet. It's like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can tell, like, it's not coming from a place of honesty.
Right.
I told her, tell people, like, be pleasant, but don't have the grin on your face if you're not feeling it.
Exactly.
And make sure that, if you're doing the plastered grin, do it till the very end, because it just looks like you're not so genuine at all. Exactly. If you're trying to smile it up, and then the minute you think the cameras are off and no one's watching, you're back to your normal.
They have to do the whole like fake banter thing. You know what I mean? Where they always look at each other. That's what they have to do. Like your mics are off, but you're still on camera and you're like,
exactly.
Jeff,
right.
We can have a great weekend.
I know it's awkward, but like you get to a place where you are who you are.
Exactly. You don't want to be Melania Trump, like when Trump turns away. Remember that video where she's like smiling and then he turns the other way and she's, oh God, Lord help me. I don't want to be Melania with it. Be genuine. Be, all of that. But I would say be genuine online. The more that social media follows people in their lives, it's kind of like don't be a liar, because at some point you're even going to forget all the lies that you told. If you're genuine and you show the ups and downs, if you want to live your life in the social media world, right? I think authenticity is of utmost importance. And authenticity means, no, you don't have to show, every ounce of your life. And I don't think anybody should. But the parts that you do should be completely authentic. Well, if you are going to do yoga on camera, you better be someone that does that regularly, whether the cameras are on or off.
What's the point of it then?
Exactly.
I mean, what are you really sharing?
Right.
And what's the point? Are you just sharing to share? Be this I don't know, this money. Thing that you're not?
Yeah.
Well, who wants to do that? That's not fun.
Exactly.
No.
So you just want to be authentic in a place that can be very fake. And it can be hard to do, especially when you see fake ass people make a lot of money by being fake. All right. All right. Well, this is something that seems like it's totally a fake story, and it's absolutely not. And the headline is nuts. This is the headline. A woman took her dog to a shelter to be euthanized. A year later, the dog is up for adoption again.
This is wild.
This is the dog. Okay. It's a cutie.
He's
okay.
Cute. Look
very,
at
very
that
cute.
little face.
Very, very cute. Okay. So apparently this a woman by the name of Christy Pereira and her dog Bo kind of had a hard time. She had been taking Bo to 2 veterinary clinics and was being consulted because the dog kept getting sick. She loved the dog, but there was something wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
She takes it to a veterinarian who concluded that the issue was most likely neurological. Blood tests show the dog might have a liver problem. So Pereira was sent home with liver enzymes and told she should see improvement pretty fast if the liver was the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the dog's condition worsened. Then the veterinarian, the clinic's lead veterinarian, and an animal emergency room veterinarian all agreed the dog's inability to control his bowels and lift his hind legs pointed to a severe neurological problem. They ran a bunch of tests. The quotes were as high as $12,000.
Whoa.
But she said she'd find a way to pay it if it would save her dog. Then she was told there was, quote, a very slim chance of finding out what's wrong. And even if they do, an even smaller chance of being something that can be fixed. So it was suggested that the most humane thing to do was euthanize the puppy. She wasn't ready to consider that option. She held out for another month. And then throughout all of it, she was consulting staff at this place called Lost Dog and Cat Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
She said, honestly, after talking to them, I felt that it was going to be the right thing to do to put him down. They gave me support and encouragement that although it's hard, sometimes it's the best thing to do.
If the animal's suffering,
of course.
In this case, the animal was suffering, right?
Yeah, the dog was clearly in pain, she said. Mm-hmm. So then she takes it to this animal service place in Maryland, paid $15 to be euthanized, and was told that it was the shelter's policy. This is what would have stopped me. It was the shelter's policy to not allow people to stay with their pets as they're put down. I don't care who you are. If my dog is going over the Rainbow Bridge, I am going to be there holding that paw's hand until the very end. Well, fast forward a year. The woman goes to see her mother in Maryland, and out of curiosity, went to the rescue's website to check out dogs for adoption. And there she sees Bo's picture, her dog. The dog was obviously bigger, had the same markings, and bore the name the rescue had given him before she adopted him, Amos Hart, which is a character based on the musical Chicago. She calls the shelter. They confirmed the dog had not been euthanized after veterinarians didn't think that he needed to be. The shelter instead called that Lost Dog and Cat Rescue and turned the dog back over to them. They said they found no neurological issues. They diagnosed a liver problem, paid for a $7,000 surgery through a GoFundMe campaign. Now, the owner said she'd pay the $7,000 to get the dog back, but they said you surrendered your dog.
Well,
they called her rude and said, you should have been there, blah, 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 and won't give her the dog back.
Wow.
Is this not insane?
It's crazy.
The rescue acknowledged it had spoken to the owner during her deliberation about whether to euthanize it, but said it made it clear to her the importance of taking the dog to a veterinarian that would allow her to be with the dog to be euthanized. If she could not do that, the rescue would take the dog back. And she's like, what? That was never said. Right. But yeah, even though everybody feels for her, it's up to the rescue on whether or not they'll return the dog to her. And there's been no determination from the rescue of whether they're going to get
crazy story.
This cute little dog
that poor
back.
Creature.
I mean, can you imagine? You've been in it. Obviously, it's been sitting there for a year at least. A year at least. They're saying it's a civil issue. Now, the last part of this article says the dog remains up for adoption on their rescue website. Why doesn't somebody just go get the dog and then
give
just
it to her?
Give it to her.
I mean, is it health? Is the animal healthy?
Yeah, I guess
now?
so. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so in the scheme of things, it's good the animal wasn't put down, even though that was the agreement. So, I mean, no one wants an animal to be euthanized that isn't fixable, that isn't in pain,
right?
Whatever. So this dog goes on to have a good life, and healthy and what have you. So, like, that aspect of the story is good, but what she went through. Yeah. With the sickness and paying the $12,000 and it's agonizing. I don't know if you've ever had to put an
No,
animal
yeah.
through
Well,
this.
my husband has been there. Yes,
It's agonizing, that because you love that creature and you don't want to do it, but you also don't want
exactly.
them to suffer and be in pain. It's really hard. So all the things she went through, and the rocky and the roll, and then to find out the
Hmm.
animal's still alive and now she can't have him back. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
I feel like, just because it keeps being mentioned about you need to find a place that will let you be there if they're euthanized,
Right.
was like this hoop that they wanted her
Yeah.
to jump through and she failed. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're kind of punishing. I mean, I'm just inferring on
Yeah.
this. This is my own opinion. But how
Yeah.
could you I just people love their animals.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's so wrong for them to not give this poor woman her dog back. I wonder, and you always see those videos of dogs that recognize their owners that have been like, stationed somewhere in the military or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I just wonder if Bo would recognize her, but we'll keep an eye on the
Yeah.
story. Maybe she'll get the dog back. One last animal story before we end the show, though.
I have another story too to throw at you.
Okay, let's do this animal story, and then you
Okay.
end the show with
Yeah.
yours. I mean, how much have you ever flown with your animal or
No.
flown with
Mm-mm.
an animal? All right.
No.
Well, obviously we've done stories about like emotional support animals, and people are like,
Sure.
"Oh my god, da, 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 don't take your pet on the plane. It doesn't belong there." Blah blah blah. Well, obviously there is a hole in the market because somebody is stepping up and making sure that your pooch is going to be treated like a king or a queen that they are, and it's called Bark Air.
The future of travel is here. World-class
The
dining,
video's so small, but yes.
critically acclaimed,
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
custom lay-flat beds with 4 times the legroom. And coming soon, Tailwinds, the first ever in-air dog park.
Can you believe that?
Introducing Bark Air. Finally, dogs will fly the way they've always deserved to.
Can you imagine?
First,
So that's called Bark Air. Guess how much flights are costing?
I have seen the flight information on this. Go
Okay.
ahead. It's crazy.
$6,000 for one dog and one human, or one human and 2 dogs collectively that are under 50 pounds in each direction. One-way flights between New York and London. Okay, so the 6,000 is between New York and LA. New York and London go for $8,000.
That's wild.
Now, Bark Air acknowledged the price is high and too high, but said innovations, especially related to transportation, often become less expensive over time, and they hope that it will with Bark Air as well. You know what? I can see a total market for this. I could see drinks come in bowls, leashes replace seatbelts, champagne is made of chicken broth, and the bathroom is everywhere. I would never work on this plane. When they feel they need to go, they go. And then we clean up after him. And then we clean the plane between every turn. Can you imagine flying to London with dogs crapping everywhere, though?
The owner flies too, right?
Of course.
But yeah, I can't imagine. But if it's an airline like this, then everyone has an animal, so everyone understands.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine if you're you're gonna fly an airline like this, like you're really into being an animal person.
Yes,
and so
exactly.
Then you understand and you're willing to like tolerate smells and barks and dog fights on the plane and all kinds of things.
That's the other thing.
Right? I mean, and if you're a person that has a lot of money and your animal means everything to you, then I can see you're right. I think there's a market.
Well, the jets can accommodate 14 human passengers, but Bark is capping them at 10, so there's extra space. They do a pup intake to learn about the dog's temperament and preferences. Humans are advised to show up an hour early to the terminal, blah, blah, blah. Dogs and humans get served their meals and stow away their toys before the flights take off. Once in the air, dogs are offered perks like spa treatments, blankets covered with pheromones for extra comfort. There's no dog size or breed restrictions, but they must be kept on a leash. And demand apparently is taking off. Bark already sold out for June and July. It wants to expand. I'm telling you. And it's obviously rich people. If you have $6,000 that you could burn on a trip to LA from New York, then you're sitting pretty.
Well, if maybe you did have that money, would you rather pay a couple extra $1,000s to not have your animal put in the animal hold?
I know.
In a cage or in whatever it's called, a little.
I would just drive. I couldn't put my dog down there. I could not. Nugget would not go down there. No,
so imagine that you're moving to New York and you're thinking, okay, well, only one of us can fly on the Bark Airlines. Nikki, why don't you take Nugget so Nugget doesn't have to go in the cage?
Oh
Maybe.
yeah, I couldn't. I would never put
I don't
I mean,
know.
I know that some people have to do that,
Yeah.
but I've heard it's cold. There's animals that have
Yeah.
passed away. Like I couldn't do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, Bark Air, if you can afford it, definitely do
There
it.
it is. All right, my last story for you
Okay.
is the Currys have had their 4th baby. Did you see this?
Oh, I didn't see that.
They did. There's a tweet. They had this little one. It's a boy.
Okay.
So now 2 girls, 2 boys, I think. Is that right?
Oh, do they have a boy? I know they have the girls. I don't know.
They're now a family of 6. Steph Curry posting, our sweet baby boy decided to make an early arrival. I don't know how early.
Okay.
He said he's doing great and we're finally settling in at home as a family of 6.
Wow.
So grateful. The name is Caius Chai.
Okay.
Caius.
I'm seeing it spelled. Yeah. Caius.
I put it on the banner there on the bottom. Caius Kai Curry.
Oh, that's a tongue twister.
Caius Curry. Or is it Chai? You say Caius Chai? I don't know.
Is it Cassius? Casey?
Caius.
I don't know how to
see an
pronounce
extra
it.
S in there. I don't know. I mean, Caius Curry's cute.
Caius Curry, Caius Chai.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
love the little baby hand holding. So cute.
I know.
And it looks like
oh, you're right. He does have another little
okay.
boy too. Yeah. Cannon.
Cannon Curry and Caius Curry. And then the girl, I know one is Riley
Riley
right?
and Ryan.
Riley and Ryan.
And Ryan. And then Cannon.
Congratulations.
Oh, how cute they are.
I
Congratulations to the Currys.
Yay.
Babies are always so cute. And so congratulations to them. They're such a fun local celebrity family. I absolutely love them. I also saw over the weekend, Steph Curry and Bradley Cooper were like tossing cheesesteaks at Bottle Rock because Bottle Rock happened last weekend during the Memorial Day weekend. So they were having a ball, and apparently Bradley Cooper was cooking up the cheesesteaks as well, bringing food into the audience. So
he's multi-talented.
Exactly as well. Well, I mean, congratulations to the Currys. I'm sure if history shows us anything, they have gorgeous children. So congratulations to all of them. All right, that's our show. We will be back tomorrow. Please, you guys, though, click the thumbs up button and make sure you have subscribed to the show. Donate to our Patreon. It's the only way the show will continue. So if you like seeing these mugs on your YouTube screen or Facebook or social media, please donate to the show and keep the show going by going to thenikkimadoroshow.com. Click that Patreon link and donate whatever you can or bump up your donations because we really do appreciate it. PayPal, of course, just go to paypal.com. Hit the send button and put in the email address, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. And then another fun, delicious way to support the show is supporting Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors, perfect for your summer barbecue. They have a hibiscus and a pineapple hot sauce, plus a guava barbecue sauce that is chef's kiss. So pick it up. Yeah.
Julia came home the other day from Trader Joe's with jalapeno flavored salad dressing.
Ooh,
that she was going to use to sprinkle on something. And I thought, okay, so she likes a little spice in her life.
Right.
I thought, okay, which one of these would be good for her?
I love the hot sauces. I don't know how spicy she likes it. I'd start with the pineapple. I feel like a pineapple's a flavor that she'd be used to. The hibiscus is delicious. But pineapple, because she might recognize the flavor, it might offset the hot sauce a little bit.
Okay.
I do not find them spicy at all, but I know that my tongue is different than everyone else's tongue. Whatever. I mean, they are hot, but they're not too hot.
Sure.
But yeah, I would start with the pineapple one. And again, the guava is so good. You can have it on everything. Yeah. Burgers, steaks. I mean, it's so good. Chicken, definitely, obviously. So check it out. And if you use the coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM, you get 10% off. K-I-M. Exactly. And it's so yummy. And again, the Auntie Tabby's Island Flavor supports children's programs in Jamaica. Tabby's from Jamaica. This is authentic island flavor, so go pick it up. It's absolutely delicious. And if you want, share pictures with us like Dan did.
Yay!
Dan is a huge supporter of the show. He got some sauce. He loved it. He had an Impossible burger with it on it. So even if you don't want to eat the meat, it was absolutely delicious. So thank you, Dan, for supporting Tabby and us as well.
Yeah.
All right. We will talk to you tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.